أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A brother has raised a question and asked me, how do we know a scholar who's on the social media, seems to be a scholar, an alim, a Molvi Sahab, a Pir Sahab, on the social media, whether this person is telling the truth or having an agenda? So how we know who's who? My dear brothers and sisters, about a specific person, I cannot comment until I know that person. But if a person makes a statement on the social media, we can talk about that statement, whether the statement is correct or not correct. Let me ask you a very simple question. When we are sick, we don't go to anybody who claims to be a doctor. We want to make sure the person is a qualified doctor. When we build a house or our building, we make sure that we engage a qualified architect. Similarly, in other worldly matters, we make sure we find out that the person is right or wrong. So why about religion is so cheap that anybody who comes on the social media dresses like an alim, dresses like a scholar, pretend to be a scholar, talks very charming, and we say, oh, he's quoting references from Quran and Sunnah, so he makes sense. Yeah, sometimes that person do make sense. But sometimes, not most of the time, rather all the time, shaitan does make sense to the person who commits and follows the shaitan. If shaitan doesn't make sense to that person will never follow shaitan. So it is not important that somebody is making sense or not making sense. Criteria is whether the person is giving you the right information or wrong information. As a Muslim, our criteria is Quran and Sunnah of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. But the problem is, all these people who are on the social media or other, in our communities, they read Quran, they quote Hadith, they quote various religious books. But still, we do not know who's saying the right thing because there is so many conflicting statements coming. So let me give you a litmus test. It's a litmus test. And litmus test means that we can quickly make a call to myself, not make a broad and general statement for the public, whether I want to listen to this man or woman or not. This person is genuine, truthful, or a fake, or making up things, or have an agenda. So we should go back to very important group of people. Every Molvi Sahib, every Alim, every scholar look like they read Quran. But their interpretation is different. Their explanation is different. So we go to the group of people, those are called the Sahaba of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, the Ahlul Bayt of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. It's a very long topic. I can speak for hours, but I'm just going to make it very short video here and send to this brother who asked me this question. Did Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, any Sahabi, and do you know, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam had countless Sahaba. We do not know exact number of Sahaba. The famous understanding is that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam has over 124,000 Sahaba. And then family of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. Show me a single statement from any Sahabi of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam that any one of them ever said that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam does not have any authority. He does not know what's going to happen to him in the future. Not a single Sahabi you will find. But there are verses in the Quran that people interpret. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I do not know what's going to happen to me, so I do not know what will happen to you. So they translate the verse from Quran like this. Show me a single Sahabi that ever said Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not have the knowledge of unseen. A single Sahabi. Never. But there are verses in the Quran that people translate and interpret that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not have the knowledge of unseen. Only Allah has. While in the Holy Quran, Allah Ta'ala says, I give the knowledge of unseen whoever I like among my messengers and the prophets. وَمَا هُوَ عَلَى الْغَيْبِ بِدَنِينَ. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not miser on telling the ghaib. But they don't quote these ahadith. Show me a single sahabi ever said the celebration of birth of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, Mawlid Nabi, is haram, is forbidden. Not a single sahabi ever said. I'm asking, Sahaba did interpret these kind of things. They did not celebrate Mawlid Nabi because they used to celebrate 365 days of their life. Every day there was a Mawlid Nabi. What is Mawlid Nabi? It's talk about Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do we live like Sahaba? We are not even close. We are far away from the life of Sahaba. So we don't live like Sahaba, but when it comes to Mawlid Nabi, we quote Sahaba. And we become like a Sahabi because they did not do it. Why should we do it? My dear brothers and sisters, Mawlid Nabi is, we do is for the reason that we need to be reminded on certain occasions about Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, about various aspects of Islamic teachings and occasions. These people are those kind of things. Show me a single Sahabi ever believed the Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam did start religion of Islam because he was a poor man and he wanted to become rich. But people have translated the verse of Quran, وَوَجَدَكَ عَائِلًا فَأَغْنَى. When we found you poor, we made you rich. This is the translation. This is not the translation. The translation is Imam al-Sunnat. Shah Ahmad Raza Khan Rahmatullah Alayhi said or wrote that when we found you in need, we made you independent of need. وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى. लोगों ने ट्रांसलेशन किया, जब हमने आपको गुमराह पाया, आपको हिदायत दी. औज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम. कितना बड़ा बहुतान है नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम पर. ऐलान नबूवत से पहले भी नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम कभी औज़ु बिल्लाह को ऐसा काम नहीं किया जिसको हम गुमराही का काम कहें. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, before even announced the prophethood, he never ever committed anything that can be considered as sinful or wrong or astray. But people have translated. So these people have agenda. Don't follow them. Don't listen to them. Because they are good speakers. Remember one thing. If Shaitan would not have been charismatic, if Shaitan would not have been presenting sinful things as beautiful things, we would never commit sin. وَزَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَعْمَالَهُم. Shaitan decorates the bad things as a beautiful thing. That's why we commit sin. These agenda scholars have an agenda to disconnect with Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We cannot accept them as our leaders. So litmus test is anybody who says Miladun Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam bid'ah, forget that guy. Anybody says Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not have any authority, he does not know his own future, that person is not a good Muslim. I'm not going to say what many other scholars would have said about this person. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam did have the knowledge of unseen because Allah gave him. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam did have authority because he is the one who declared Ashara Mubashara, guarantee to those 10 Sahaba of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They are not mentioned in the Holy Quran. Ashara Mubashara. General Sahaba are mentioned that Allah will reward them Jannah. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam gave an authentic hadith that to anybody. He said, if you give me the guarantee what is between your two teeth and what is between your two legs, that you will not abuse or misuse them, I give you the guarantee of heaven. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam did have authority. So right scholars are those who obey Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who follow the sunnah of Nabi alayhi salatu wasallam, and increase and talk about the love and honors of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Don't undermine the honors of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They are most probably are the right people. But at the same time, they have to make sense. We cannot go against aql, common sense. There are people who are, mashallah, बहुत सारे अब ऐसे लोग आ गए हमारे सुन्नियों के अंदर भी, among Sunni Muslims, there are many people have infiltrated. They do Mawlid Nabi, they do Salatu Salam by standing on Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but they are also making nonsense statements in the social media. So we are the people of knowledge. We are people of adab. Any person who goes up against aql, or who is not the person of adab, just get away from that person. Love Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Love the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's Ahlul Bayt and the Sahaba and the Awliya Ikram. This misinterpretation of the Quran and abuse of the Hadith has misguided a lot of Muslims, has divided a lot of Muslims. We go back to Sahaba, we go back to Ahlul Bayt of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala habibi Muhammad wa alihi wa barik wa sallim.